here at the aquarium, and one of the highlights always, part of my day, is getting to see these beautiful animals in this very large exhibit. In fact, this exhibit, the Open Sea, is bigger than all the other exhibits combined here at the aquarium. You're looking at 1.2 million gallons of seawater. For those of you on the metric system, that's 4.5 million liters. That's a lot of seawater. And, you know, it's very similar to what you would actually see if you were to go out to sea into the open ocean, maybe about 30 or 40 miles offshore. The animals you see here in this exhibit, they are neighbors. These are animals that you might see anywhere from the Monterey region all the way south into the Baja region. So these are all naturally occurring animals that occur in this part of the world. Now, you can see we've got some very large fish moving around here. Those of you who are closer up, you may have seen the 15,000 very small fish we have here today. And we're going to be feeding both of them, both groups, the big fast fish and these small fast fish, these schooling fish. So we have to feed them in a way that, one, they don't eat each other, and two, they all get the right kind of food at the right size and the right time. So we have a coordinated effort to do that. Now we're going to start by feeding these big, fast fish up top. You're going to see our tunas. Oh, there's some of the food in the water right now. Some of our tunas and very interesting fish up top with a square forehead and a long fin. You'll see several of those moving around. You may know them as Dorado fish, and the one top center of the window right now is doing something that earned it that name. Dorado, of course, golden. And you can see that fish has turned a beautiful gold color. The sardines decided to come up and remind us that they want feeding too. But take a look at the size of that food and the size of those little fish. It's not going to work. So we have smaller food that we will be serving to the sardines afterwards. And if those sardines know what they're about, they will stay very tightly spooled together so those big hungry fish don't mistake them for breakfast. Now you can see, you probably recognize that what we're dropping in right now are whole pieces of whole calamari or squid. This is same market squid that you or I might have on a plate. And the sardines are sort of taking over the stage here a little bit. Now, what we're supposed to be happening, if you look behind the sardine curtain here for a moment, you'll notice that the big fish are going after the food that isn't moving. This is a natural tendency of all top predators. They know to conserve their energy. It's a lot less work for them to chase after that previously frozen squid and get that very easily, rather than having to hunt down one of these little sardines that are floating around in the exhibit. So they're by and large going to stick to the food that's easy for them to get, cheap to get. Every once in a while, things do go a little off schedule though, so we'll keep our eye out. In addition to those Dorado fish, which by the way also go by the Hawaiian name of mahi-mahi, so you may recognize that with those fish moving around. You see our tremendous athletes. These are the tunas. We have both bluefin and yellowfin tunas in the exhibit right now, and they do school together in the wild as well. Right now our bluefins are much bigger than some of the yellowfins, but they can get to a similar size, although bluefin can get to be much bigger in the end. In addition to those fish, you might notice some sort of medium-sized fish that have beautiful striped diagonals on them. Those are bonito fish. That's a great name. They're quite lovely. And of course, you can see our hammerheads, our sandbar shark, and our pelagic stingrays. Now, for some of these other animals, besides the schooling fish, we have a different way of feeding them. And in fact, we also have a pair of sea turtles that have had their feeding this morning as well. So let me show you how that begins. To feed any of these slower animals that we need to hand feed, we feed them in a way that's known as a target feed. So with our turtles, this is what a feeding would look like. You can see we've dropped a plastic float into the water. That calls the turtles up. That's sort of a visual dinner bell for them. We call that a target. They know if they come up to them, they're going to get a lovely bucket of lettuce and green bell peppers. And this morning, we've actually moved our turtles off exhibit to feed them. They'll be coming back on exhibit a little while after all of this calms down here with our feeding. So those animals will be back in too. Now, for the sharks and the rays, there's a similar kind of target feeding that we do along the back wall later in the afternoon. You can see in the film here that the trainer is putting that big white sign with a red X in the water. That's the target for the pelagic ray. The rays will actually turn over. Their mouth is underneath, so they swim right on up with the mouth towards the top. They use those long wings to scoop that food into their mouths as well. So that's how we can feed the rays as well. And this way we make sure that these animals are getting the right food in the right quantity. And this is also how we can feed sharks too. We'll put a float in the water or a target in the water. And here we've got a nice luscious piece of salmon fillet tied on with a soft cotton thread. The shark comes up, hauls that off, and lunch is delivered. So this is how we can feed these other animals, and we need to make sure that they're getting the correct food at the correct time. So we do feed them at different times of the day, different places throughout the exhibit. All this is going on because we've got a team of people standing up above this exhibit. This is what the top side above this water looks like, and this is where they're tossing the food. Now, you'll notice top center of the window that we're starting to toss in a very different looking food, and you might guess that this is the food that the small sardines are meant to eat. So they're getting a little bit of a taste of it as it floats down, and you'll see again 15,000 little sardines. There they go. They're starting to make their way up the far side for that food. What's amazing is to watch how these sardines school so tightly together. It's really incredible to watch. 15,000 animals all in a flash mob at once doing the same things. They do this by looking at one another. They have good eyesight. Little fish like this also have pressure sensors on the sides of their bodies, so they can feel their neighbors moving around them as well. So when they come back up, which they will probably do in another minute or two, this is what they're doing to coordinate their actions. Now, sardines like this, here they come.
Oh, they go.
Wow. Incredible. Those sardines, as I mentioned, they stay in that nice tight school so that they can avoid ending up on the menu for larger fish. And many things in the ocean like to eat sardines, so this is a very natural tendency for them is to stay close to one another. So you can see that they're coordinating their actions. You might wonder, who in the world is the leader of this big school? And it turns out no one is, and everyone is. Each sardine can lead the way in their area if they need to, and that's very handy. You don't want the guy at the front of the pack to not get word if there's a hungry fish at the back of the pack, so they can all move as needed. They do this, of course, because it's very hard for a big fish to pick them off when they're all schooling together. Try this. Pretend you're a hungry tuna and pick out one sardine with your eyes and see if you can follow that one fish for the count of 10. Ready? Go. It's pretty hard to do, and you can see that's why those fish would prefer, the big fish would prefer to have food that they can get to easily. You might have noticed the food for the sardines just changed a little bit. It's sort of cloudy and pink looking. We're dropping in about 10 pounds of krill, a very small little shrimp-like animal that is very popular not only with small fish like this, but some of the largest animals in the ocean, blue whales and basking sharks. They eat this as well, so they're making short work of that 10 pounds. Sometimes, as you noticed before, they can make dramatic entrances. We'll see if the sardines make a dramatic exit for us today as well. I know when many of us are looking at animals and feeding like this, of course, it's easy to think in terms of things like garlic and butter and eating ourselves, and that's okay. Many of us here at the aquarium are very fond of having seafood meals ourselves. We just try and make sure that we select the things that are not in trouble. We try and make sure we make sensible and informed choices. And you can too. You can help us out with this by using some really simple and powerful tools. Our seafood watch guides are a great way of being able to inform yourselves how and when and what kind of foods are the ones that are good. What are the ones that maybe need our help? So we have these cards. They're set up a little bit like a traffic light. Green means go, yellow means slow down, red means stop. So for example, bluefin tuna are on the red list. They have been so popular, especially at high-end restaurants and sushi restaurants, that we're taking them out of the ocean faster than they can replenish themselves. But there are plenty of other kinds of tuna in the sea, so if we can shift our focus away from the bluefin and onto others, there are actually some hope that these animals will come back. Well, you can see that this feeding is slowing down a bit. I'm going to stick around for a few minutes. So if you have questions about what you're seeing, or if you'd like to pick up our seafood watch guides, or find out how to get the free app for your phone, that's another great way to do this as well. Thanks everybody for coming in. Have a wonderful day at this aquarium.